So years ago, I was sitting at my desk at work, fixing the fonts and numbers on a PowerPoint presentation. A presentation that no one will remember in a week. It was 11:30 at night, my eyes were blurry, and I had this overwhelming thought to myself. What am I actually doing with my life? I spent years chasing what I thought I was supposed to do. But deep down, I had this itch, this urge to create something of my own, to build something that mattered. But I had no idea what that was. And even if I did, I didn't think I had the time, the talent, or even the permission to try. So I did what most people do. I ignored it. I scrolled. I was filled with self-doubt. I watched other people build their dreams while telling myself, maybe one day, maybe I'll start tomorrow. But tomorrow became never. And if you're watching this, I know you feel this urge too. You want to build something, start something. Maybe it's writing a book or get a new career or starting your own side hustle or even creating your own YouTube channel. Whatever that might be, share your dream with someone in the comment below, and let's be accountable for each other to actually do something about it. So since I was little, and like many other people, I love the idea of a fresh start. But this was my problem. I love to start, but only when I had everything ready. We tell ourselves that once we have the perfect idea, the perfect timing, the perfect plan, then we'll start. So for my first imaginary side hustle, I wrote a 20-page business plan. I created a beautiful logo, but then it just collected dust because I convinced myself that it wasn't ready. I wanted to start a YouTube channel for years, but only wasted time on researching cameras and mics and lights instead of actually shooting a video and post it online. I wanted to be a confident speaker on stage, but then never put myself in front of an actual audience to practice the art of putting myself out there. But life gets busy and keeps moving. So days, months, and years would go by. And I realized that the longer you wait, the more impossible it feels. Like the weight and pain of not doing something about it is growing heavier in your mind every single day. And that's when I finally made a shift and change in my life. I don't need a perfect idea. I just need to start with something. So this is when I made a deal with myself that I'm gonna just give it a try and take that first step. I grabbed my phone, which is just an old one with a very basic pixelated camera, nothing like the powerful cameras in our phones that we have now. And I decided to create something every day. A short video about what I learned that week, a random photo from my commute. Sometimes I posted online, even though I only had 10 followers, and one of them was my mom. I started speaking in front of audiences, whether big or small. Sometimes there were only about 10 to 15 people to practice telling my story and growing my confidence as a speaker. I launched the first business without any fancy logos or business plans. I made a lot of mistakes, but I figured it out along the way because most of the time, no one even saw that I posted, and I didn't land that first big client I wanted. And I probably embarrassed myself in front of those early speaking gigs. But for the first time, that didn't matter because I wasn't doing it for validation. I was doing it because it felt good to show up for myself. This tiny little bit of action didn't change my life, make me an overnight millionaire, or make my content go viral on social media. But it taught me something, and it made me feel powerful for taking responsibility for my own life and my future. So if you resonate with this, and you felt the urge to take control of your own future in life, this is your sign to do something about it. Because right now, you're done with sitting on the sidelines, watching, consuming, and waiting. But maybe life always seems to give you a reason, right? I don't have a good idea yet on what to do, or now's not the right time. The real reason for this is that it's just fear in disguise in your head. You don't need more time. You don't need more knowledge. You need more action, because this is where most people quit, because those tiny little steps, they lead to progress that feels so slow. It might even feel pointless, but every time you show up, you're rewriting the story you're telling yourself. You're proving to yourself that you're the kind of person who takes action, even when it feels hard. So let's change the story and finally show up for you. And as a creator, I show up for my audiences weekly on this channel. I love challenging myself to create videos that inspires and resonates. And now let me share some practical steps that you can take towards your dreams that work for me. So here's the exact process of 3 small but powerful steps to build that momentum. First is to make it easy to start. The reason where most people never start is because they think the first step needs to be big. It doesn't. It just needs to be real. So when I was getting comfortable to create content, I started with what I had, an old phone and 10 followers. If I waited for the perfect idea or the perfect setup, I'd probably still be waiting today. If you want to write a book, write 1 paragraph today about the idea and then save it on your computer. If you want to start a business, message 1 person you look up to about your idea to give you some feedback. If you want to create content, follow people in your industry or your interest area who are already creating content on what you like. Then learn from what you're watching and consuming. Then film your own 10 to 15 second clip on your phone and just share it with the world. You want to make it too small to fail because once you start, it's way easier to keep going. And if you're thinking about creating your own YouTube channel, I put together something to help you. My free YouTube beginners checklist and the link in the description. It's just a simple step-by-step checklist to help you go from idea to published video so you can stop overthinking and start creating. Next, you want to create a safe zone. And this is really when people fail when they tie their first attempt to success. The goal right now isn't to be great, it's just to show up and that's it. So I made a rule. I had to create something daily, but it didn't have to be public. That took the pressure off and built a habit of creating without fear. So pick a very low pressure way to practice. Maybe it's to journal privately, to record your drafts, sketch for yourself. And if you want to share it, go for it. Because the stakes are so much lower in the beginning when there are less attention or eyeballs on what you're doing. Make a consistency goal of, let's say, 3 times a week for 10 minutes. I just set a timer, 10 minutes, that's it. No pressure to be productive. Just 10 minutes of pure effort. Because here's the thing, once I start, I almost always keep going and don't focus on results. Focus on the act of doing. Because when you detach from the outcome and just focus on trying your best, suddenly that fear just disappears. So set the deadline lastly when no one is watching because momentum thrives on accountability. It doesn't have to be with someone else. You're being accountable for your future self. I didn't start getting serious until I committed to posting something weekly, even when no one was watching on this channel. So choose a very small deadline. Reach out to 1 person, create 1 piece of content, share an update weekly or daily. I love this idea of building in public and documenting all the messy behind the scenes. Especially if you're comfortable with sharing that because no one's perfect and you're much more relatable to other people who might become your future customers, your future followers, and your future friends because you're sharing your journey of building something. And use this if-then planning. So if I miss a day, then I will make it up tomorrow by doing X, let's say 5 minutes. This will really help you get back on track when you feel like you're falling off. And we all do because we're human. Once you make that commitment, even just to your future self, it really forces you to show up even on days when you don't feel like it. So if you've been waiting for a sign to start, this is it. Pick that one thing today, a single post, a single idea, maybe writing a single paragraph. And don't do it for the algorithm. Don't do it for the likes. Do it for you. Share your dream with others in the comments. What did you create? And how did it feel to finally show up for yourself? I'm Laurie, and if this video resonated with you, check out this next video here. I think you'll love it. I'll see you there.